This artwork, titled Gig, has numerous media, so titled mixed media in general, and the mixing of the media, you could begin with the guitars. The guitars are miniature guitars that I obtained on my travels overseas, and the sense I had when I saw all these crafts, which were in Indonesia, and they get exported to all over the world, and it got me thinking about the relationship that we have with all these, items. And I was at that time doing a postgraduate in social political sciences, and one of the terms was soft power, and soft power is often related to international relations between nation states, often to do with diplomacy rather than using what was termed hard power, which is military force. So I thought in the relation to residents, citizens, how this might play out, and I came up with the notion of soft power relating to, like, instruments, trade, of course, but trade is to do with international relations as soft power, but in relation to our relations with each other within the nation, like citizens, music has been in the form of, say, for example, contemporary rock and roll, has been a form of soft power between people, good feelings, and this is the notion of gig. So that's the title, Gig. It's to do with this notion of soft power within the citizens of a nation state, and I'm taking, of course, the perspective of being a citizen of Australia. So, for example, in India, where I travelled to as well, the soft power would be maybe those musical instruments like the sitar and tabla and so forth. How does this play out then in relation to travel in general? I've depicted on the bottom here some images of aviation, so travel, and that would be the harder power. It requires, it's hard on the person to travel. They require a lot of finances, risk, and a culture shock, going to another culture. So it is quite a different sense of power than the power of, for example, going to a Friday night gig and listening to music. So this has been typified here within the guitars within clay. So the outside is clay that's embedding these guitars, and then resin on that. And I would classify this in the stylistic sense as the positive, because it's like the bas relief of a sculpture, what is out from the relief, and this is the negative space between the guitars, and these are blocks of resin. And on the outside, I've got the basic clay within the resin, and then prints as well, and they depict images of travel on one side, and then on the other side, eminent people that would be related to celebrities throughout the world. So I've kind of looked at that in relation to the side. So the side then in relation to gig is really the cutting edge of the person within the gig. So you might have a rock star would be like this slither. Between the actual instruments, you have anyone could play the instrument or learn to play the instrument, but only very select few get up there and become superstars. So that's the gig in that sense. How I played on this notion on this side here was the marble, in relation to kind of the classical gig of antiquity, were these marble statues that became a sort of a soft power in that sense. And I've also embedded here a print of just people within that scene, so that the scene being a particular kind of culture. The whole notion here between, say, soft and hard power is the sense that entertainment and travel are two sides of the same sort of coin, to put, so coining this term. So this is the notion of entertainment, and here we've got travel. So the extended notion of travel is to do with biopower, and I've got here a bird, which is a finch in full flight, captured with an action camera, which has got buffering so that as the bird is about to fly, the frames prior to pressing the button were captured, so allowing the actual image to be just moving away from the branch. So that's capturing sort of a biological power of being anchored to some object, the branch, but being able to move very quickly away. Hence the lino cut fly. So this is the sense that you're flying away into the objective world, which is a form of power, hard power. Whereas on this side, it's more tranquil and serene. You're embedded within a particular world. So I kind of embedded some images of the combi van being kind of within a cocoon, an environment and sheltered, a beach, wood here in the top that's been sort of etched out, a person in kind of sleep or stupor even. You could call that the sense of being floating within a sea of soft power. And these two islands of resin have got embedded prints in them, and I've carved them out, so obscuring the prints. So that's the other part of soft power. A lot of it is obscured, but there are images below that surface that give meaning and reference. So let's spin gig.